What's up, guys? Y'all know who it is. It's your girl, Not a Connects. And of course, we're back with a new freaking video. This video right here is my labor and delivery story time vlog. So make sure you guys have your post notifications turned on if they're not already turned on. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you come join the family because we drop them videos back to back. And leave a comment down below, like this video, share this video with everybody you know as well. If you guys are already a returning subscriber, you already know what time it is. Go ahead and leave a comment down below and drop a purple heart. But we're gonna get straight to the video. Okay, guys, so let me tell y'all from the beginning how I went into labor and how I knew I was in labor. So my contractions literally started at 9:30 that night on June the 3rd. They started June 3rd at 9:30. I delivered my son June the 4th at 6:44 a.m. When I found out that I was having contractions when it started at 9:30, they was literally like 20 minutes apart. I let them go by because I was just, brushing them off like they was just regular contractions. So I let them go by. About 10 o'clock is when they started to pick up. They was literally coming back to back, like at least 5 minutes apart. About 10:30, I decided to call my doctor to see what my doctor was going to say. And she was just like, yeah, quite heavy. Let me call my doctor immediately. So I call my doctor and I'm like, I'm feeling my contractions. They're coming back to back to back. It's been 30 minutes. What should I do? She's like, okay, like how far along are they? I'm like, they're like 5 minutes apart. She's like, okay, you can come in and see us. How long is it going to take you to get here? I'm like, I stay about 45 minutes away. She's like, okay, you can come in right now. So as I'm talking to her, I'm like, okay, well, I'm using the bathroom, maybe I just have to use the bathroom. Maybe, it's really not nothing. It's not really nothing. It's just, my contractions is normal as usual. My job, I don't go in to the hospital for my contractions. I normally go in because I'm not feeling well or, you know, vomiting or something like that, like something serious about my pregnancy. I'm really not going in because I'm hurting over contractions. That's literally by far the last thing I would go in for. So as I'm using the bathroom, my contractions slow down immediately. I'm like, okay, good. I just had to use the bathroom. Now I can just, I'm telling myself, okay, if they start back up, they pick back up, then I will go to the hospital immediately. You guys, no more than 5 minutes after I got out the bathroom, I sat in this chair when I came out the bathroom and my contractions picked back up immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to call the ambulance because that's my only way the fastest to the hospital. My mom, she's disabled because she had just had surgery and wasn't nobody here with the car. So I'm like, okay, I have to call the ambulance to come get me. I immediately called 911. I called 911, get medic on the phone, and I'm telling them, my contractions are starting. I'm 38 weeks and a couple of days. My job, I was supposed to be 39 weeks that weekend, but I didn't make it to 39 totally. I was 38 weeks and 4 days because I had them on the 4th, so they calculated it as 4 days. So I was 38 weeks and 4 days, you guys. And the medic was like, okay, they doing their normal procedure. They like, sit in a comfortable position. Don't prevent the pregnancy. If the baby comes, let the baby come. This, that, and the third. And so I'm on the phone with the lady, and she's like, how far along are your contractions? I'm like, they're coming every 5 minutes. And she's calculating. She's like, oh no, they're coming like every 3 minutes, every 3 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, don't even tell me, don't tell me. And so, as she is telling me how far along my contractions is, she's also telling me that, I'm a contacted medic. Medic is on the way. They should be there very shortly. Y'all, within 5 minutes, fire department was here. Medic was here 5 minutes after, literally. I was like, oh my gosh, they came in through this way. Well, um, uh, fire department came in through the door, and they, start taking my blood pressure. The lady, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you were in labor. You're in labor." You know what I'm saying? So you just breathe through your contractions, this, that, and the third. She really didn't necessarily say I was in labor, but she knew by my face and my reaction, because I was sitting like this. She knew by my face and my reaction that I was in labor, but I didn't know. I just thought I was, just having contractions at this time. And so, as she's, telling me to tell her, when I'm having my next my next contraction, I'm just like, okay, I'm having a contraction. Okay, it's gone. I'm having another one. I'm telling her this like every 3 minutes, y'all. I'm like, I'm having a contraction. So the guy, one of the fire department guys, was like, can we lift up the garage door so medic can come in? And I'm like, yes, you can lift it up. So as medic is, so literally, okay, so after the fire department get here, they asked me if they could lift up the garage so medic can, enter through the garage instead of entering through the door. I said yes, that's totally fine. As soon as medic come in, the lady, they put me on the stretcher. They asked me, do I need to bring anything? I'm like, yes, I need to bring my hospital bag, the car seat, the baby bag, and my purse. So literally, they grabbed everything. They're like, okay, that's fine. And the lady's like, okay, just let me know when your contractions are starting. Let me know when it stops. And literally, when they put me on the stretcher, I'm like, okay, I'm having a contraction right now. Y'all, my contraction really didn't even stop. Immediately, it stopped once I got inside of the medic, inside of the ambulance. That's when my contraction ended up stopping. So I was like, okay, my contraction stopped. She's like, okay, tell me when another one is starting. So literally after that stopped, I'm like, okay, I feel another one coming, you know what I'm saying? So like at this time, I'm telling her when my contractions are stopping and when my contractions are starting. And she's timing my contractions. She's like, oh, these coming every 2 minutes. She was like, which hospital? Well, basically, they was already asking me inside of my room, inside of here, which hospital I was going to and everything like that. And I'm telling them, which hospital that I was going to and things like that. So they was like, okay. As soon as they got in the ambulance, they you know doing everything that they need to do for as like taking my blood pressure and stuff like that. They took my sugar to see if I was running low on sugar. They also gave me an IV as well, but I'll tell y'all about that a little bit later, going down the storyline. So we get inside the ambulance, and she's like, okay, let me let them know that that we're coming and things like that. So I'm also still telling her when my contractions are starting, when my contractions are stopping. And she's like, okay, you're doing a very great job, just keep breathing through your contractions. And I'm like, okay. Y'all, we get to the hospital and I'm still having my contractions. They haven't stopped. It's 11. It's going on. Actually, it was 11 when they got here. It was almost 11 when they got here. It wasn't, honestly, we got to the hospital at 11:50. That's what time we got to the hospital. We got to the hospital at 11:50. They still had to take me upstairs to labor and delivery, which took freaking almost 10 minutes because a hospital is super huge. So it took us about 10 minutes just to get upstairs. They had to go through ER. They had to go all the way through there. Then they had to take up the elevator. It was really almost 5 to 10 minutes before we even got to labor and delivery. So I'm still breathing through my contractions, you guys. By the time we get up to labor and delivery, I'm signing my HIPAA papers, stuff like that. They get me into the room, and I'm still breathing through my contractions and stuff like that. The IV that they end up giving me in the ambulance didn't necessarily work because when the lady came in to try to give me my fluids, she had to redo my IV because that one didn't work. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work. So they had to take that one out and give me a whole brand new IV. So when they ended up giving me a brand new IV, they finally got my fluids going, just to see if it could probably slow down my contractions and stuff like that. My contractions didn't slow down at all. My son was like, I'm ready to come tonight. So we get into the room and she's like, okay, let me check your cervix and things like that. Mind y'all, they checked my cervix twice. The first time was okay. I was just like, okay, don't do too much. Mind y'all, I was still having contractions while she was checking my cervix. I don't know how it feels to. Well, normally I do know how I feel because when they check my cervix, normally I'm fine, everything is fine. But for some reason, it felt like that lady was like digging all up in me. I was like, girl, if you don't stop, I know you feel where my cervix is. Like, stop playing. She was in there. I was like, lady, get the like stop. Like, she made me cry, y'all. Like, for real. She made a tear come down my freaking eye. That's how bad she stuck her finger in my vagina. I was just like I feel violated. You know what I'm saying? Like, is you even supposed to be going that far? Like, she's pressing down and she's sticking and oh, she's like, oh, well, let me just make sure. I'm like, make sure about what? Like, I know you feel it. Like, stop. I'm pressing her off of me and everything. Like, I'm fighting her, like, get off of me by this time. Like, I don't even want you to touch me no more. Like, send me home by this time. Like, send me back home because you keep trying to check my service and it's just you making me mad. So, as she is checking my cervix, she's like, oh yeah, you're about you're still about 1 centimeter dilated. Just anyways. So as she's checking my cervix, she's still like, okay, you're 1 centimeter dilated, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay. So like, can we get this, show on the road by this time? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this in my head, like, yeah, like it's time to get this show on the road. And so, as they are, she's like, okay, let me go see what the doctor wants to do. So, it took her about 10 minutes just to come back into the room, and she walks back into my room and she's like, do you want to have the baby today? And by this time, you guys, it was okay. So time framing that, it was about 1:00 in the morning when they checked my cervix the first time. After they let the fluids go in and stuff like that, I'm literally in labor for a couple of hours. It's almost 1:00. Well, it's going on 1:30, almost 2:00 by this time. By the time like 2:15, 2:30 get here, they check my cervix again. And like she said, I was still 1 centimeter dilated. And then they went to go see what my doctor wanted to do. 10 minutes later, about 2:45, they come back into the room and ask me if I'm ready to deliver the baby. I say yes, we can deliver the baby today. Cause baby, I'm not waiting. I'm in pain. I'm having contractions, and they are killing me. So, as I am waiting for them to, tell me the next steps and stuff like that, the lady that is, setting me up for my cesarean, she comes in and she's like, okay, we're about to give you some medication. She's like, because, I have a higher chance of, extra blood, like my blood, like leaking out and stuff like that, or losing blood, that I had to have a second IV in me so I can, get extra fluids. And I said, okay, that's fine. So it took them a whole almost an hour just to try to find an extra vein in me. Like, I had mind you, I had threw up before I even got to the hospital. Before I even called the ambulance, I had threw up. So like, my dehydration was dead. Like, I didn't have no dehydration. So my veins was like really, really small. So when I got to the hospital, and I couldn't have nothing to drink when I got there, like I couldn't have nothing to eat or nothing to drink. So when I got to the hospital, they had to call up the vein doctor so they could come up and try to find the extra vein so that they could get my second IV to work. So she comes in there, she finds my second vein, and they literally get that process started. And so by that time, I had two other people in front of me doing the C-section. So I still had to wait for them two people to get done with their C-section for me to even go into my C-section, y'all. My job, what time I delivered my son was 6:44 in the morning. My job, by this time, it's 3 o'clock. It's going on 4. When they gave me my IV, it was like 4:30ish or whatever like that. So I still had to wait. By the time like 5 o'clock came in, that's when they are giving me my medication to prep me to go into the cesarean room. They gave me some liquid stuff. They gave me some pills to take to digest for my digestion system and stuff like that. So I took all of my medication, and by this time it's like 5:30. It's going on 5:30, and they're like, okay, we're about to get you prepared to go down to cesarean. Are you ready? This, that, and the third. I said, yeah. So by this time, you guys, I'm guessing it's going on 6 o'clock. My job, I'm not even in the room. By 6 o'clock, I'm not even in the room no more. Like, it's going on 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm headed down to the cesarean room. They put me in the cesarean room at 6:15. That's what time I entered the room, actually, because when you enter the room, immediately they have to document what time you entered the room. So when I entered the room, it was 6:15 because she was like entering the room at 6:15, basically. So I entered the room at 6:15, and she was like, they're prepping me for my cesarean, y'all. They put me on the table, but from the bed to the table, and I had to sit up because I had to get my epidural. My job, what also took a little minute, was my anesthesiologist comes into the room. She's talking to me, telling me everything that's gonna be, taking place during my cesarean, how she's gonna numb me, this, that, and the third, and how my prep is gonna be going. So while I am listening to her, finish telling me how my cesarean was gonna be going, by that time I believe that was like 5:30 in the morning. But fast forward back to being on the cesarean table. So I am like leaning over to get my epidural at this time, and I'm like, I'm grabbing the pillow, I'm holding on to the pillow. They're like, don't tense up, don't hold your back. So I'm like, because I don't have no support. My boyfriend was asleep. You guys, I'm texting my boyfriend. I texted him at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I felt like I thought I could do this by myself, babe. Like, I can't do this by myself. I gotta call somebody in here with me. So, when he didn't respond, mind you, my boyfriend, he works late, so he was asleep by the time I ended up texting him. It was almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I already knew he was asleep. So I texted him, let him know about 3:30, we about to have the baby, but he literally did not receive my text messages until that morning after my cesarean, you guys. So what happened? So they was like, oh, well, we'll have somebody in there with you to give you some support. So the lady that, was giving me my medication for my cesarean, she was my support lady. So she ended up, telling me to hunch my back over, lean forward, don't tense up, this, that, and the third. So she's, coaching me through trying to get my epidural. Literally, the epidural went like that. It went really, really fast for me. She just numbed my back. It was a little pinch. It wasn't even that bad. When she numbed my whole entire back, she did the epidural, baby. The epidural if they can give you an epidural for any time you feeling some type of way, baby, give me an epidural, because baby, it takes every all the shopping pain away. Because baby, I need an epidural. Just give me an epidural. So they give me the epidural, and immediately my whole body just dropped. It felt like I was paralyzed. My whole entire body just got numb. They was like, okay, you can just lay back now. So I'm laying back on the table. I have my arms down like this, and the doctors come in. Y'all, it's about 5 doctors that rushed in there. And my job at this time, I'm just laying down. And I can't remember me like trying to doze off, but like when she was cutting me, or like I felt a little bit of tugging, not a whole bunch, but you could still feel them touching you. You just can't feel none of the pain, like the cutting or the baby coming out and stuff like that. So as they are doing all of that, like tugging, I feel myself trying to drift off into sleep. But I'm hearing my baby as well. Like I feel them about to pull him out. I feel them pulling his head, like his body out of me at this time. And so I didn't even go to sleep. I was like, okay, the nurses coming by me. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. Is he okay? They're like, yeah, he's fine. So literally he comes out, and I hear a little cry, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my son. That's my son. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I couldn't even cry. That's how happy I was. I literally tried to make myself cry. Like I was like, that's my son. I'm crying. You know how you cheat so hard that you think you're about to cry? Yeah, I tried to do that. Then no tears come out, baby, because I was happy. I was so freaking happy my son was here. And I heard a little cry. I was like, oh my gosh, that's my son. I'm telling the doctor, that's my baby, how he's doing. They told me he was doing fine. Even the doctor said he was doing fine. And she brought him around me the first time, and I was like, oh, that's my son. Can I give him a kiss? And I gave him a kiss, and they took him back around to, get everything washed off of him stable. And then that's when they noticed that something was going wrong at this time, and that his breathing was a little off. And, they brought him back around to me and was like, we have to take him into, the NICU, because he's only breathing 3 times every time he breathes. So he's like, so it's not like a constant breathing where he's just like, he's not breathing like that. He's like, really, it's to them, it's looking like it's hard for him to keep up his breathing. So they immediately took him to NICU at 6:44. By out of I was out of the OR room. By that time, after I got out of the OR room, operating room, I am in recovery for at least 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 10. I was in recovery for 4 hours. Mind y'all, during those 4 hours, they were still trying to stabilize they was, still trying to figure out what was wrong with him. Y'all, when I tell y'all, when I went to go see my son, I was about to break down and cry. I was about to break down and cry. My son was literally like the second baby in NICU, so like I could see him. I didn't even know it was him, honestly, but when they, was taking me over there, they pointed to him, so I seen him, and I was like, that's my son. Like, my son is like on a breathing tube. Like, are y'all serious right now? This is crazy. I would never imagine as a parent that my son would be, going into on a breathing tube. So I immediately rushed over. Like, I had the lady was taking me over there. My job, by this time, I had already called some of my family members up. Oh, I called my mom. I called my grandma. My job, I called my mom. My mom was 2 hours away. By 3 o'clock, 3:30, 3:45, those hours, I ended up calling my mom after I texted my boyfriend and told him, I was like, baby, I can't do this by myself. I need somebody here. You know what I'm saying? So I called them for, you know, a little bit of support. My mom was 2 hours away. My grandma was asleep. I called my aunt to wake my grandma up. My aunt was up, thankfully. And then I ended up calling my cousin. My cousin, she fell asleep with me on the phone. So I was like, okay. By 7, everybody started calling me back and was like, you know, are you okay? What's going on? This, that, and the third. My cousin was like, okay, I'm on the way up there. I'll be up there shortly. This, that, and the third. So by the time my cousin comes up there, she is, yeah, it's a. But by the time my cousin comes up there, she's with me. She's going with me to the NICU to see my son. And bad. I was feeling sad, but I immediately went over there to comfort my son because, baby, my son needs all the support that he could get. I had a little bit of faith that my son was gonna make it off that table. That's how. And then God said, "I'm your God. Like I'm your God." And so, like, I immediately prayed for my baby to come home to me, because I was like, God, like, you made me go through 9 months to you know have to for me to not have my son here. So after that, that's when I was just holding my son, kissing him, you know, letting him know everything's gonna be okay. Um, yeah, and my son was in NICU for about almost. Okay, guys, so let me kind of quite like finish the story time before I hit the bed. But basically, after we see my son in the NICU, my son was in the NICU for about 12 hours. He was in there 7, from about 7 a.m. and then they brought him into my room around almost 11 o'clock that night. Um, Everybody came to see him, his dad, my mom, um, my cousin, my grandma. My sister happened to sneak in there with my mom, and my sister girlfriend happened to sneak with my mom, and my kids. No, I don't think my kids came that day, but that's basically who all came that day. Was my mom, his dad, my sister snuck her way with her girlfriend, and my grandma and my cousin. Them are the people that came the same day. And then they brought my son into my room that night, and me and my son been bonding ever since. So yeah, I'm about to go get my son. I'm not gonna wake him up or anything like that because he is sleeping. We do have a big day tomorrow. We have a long, well, not a big day, but we do have a long day tomorrow. But I'm gonna get him and bring him over here, and you know, I'm gonna close out the vlog with him on the vlog. But literally, my son is doing great. He's doing fine. He did scare us for a minute, especially mommy and daddy. He did scare us for a moment, but he's doing great. But let me go get him before I close out the vlog. Here he goes, guys. This is my son. He's doing perfect. He's doing perfectly perfect. You know, but you know, as you know, we do check on him 24/7 to make sure he's fine, nothing's going wrong, and we don't have to rush him to the hospital for any reasons. Um, but yeah, I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this story time of my labor and delivery vlog with my wonderful son. As y'all know him by Jace, but Jace's delivery vlog. But yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel because you know your girl is on the road to 1K subscribers, and I can't wait to get there. So make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all know who it is, y'all know what it do. It's your girl, Nada Connects, and I'll see you guys in the next video.